Welcome to Fighting Solo, my web show where I talk about MMA every week. I'm Julien Solomita, and every episode we're going to break down the latest and talk about what I like and what you like in MMA. We have two guests this week, both from the UFC, Pablo Garza and John Albert. They'll both be joining us later in the show, and we'll hear from them about their latest and their upcoming fights. But we'll start with UFC 154. A few weeks ago, before Carlos Condit turned GSP into the Terminator, a couple other fights happened, and they were awesome too. Patrick, there's a target on the back of my head, Cote, picked up a painful win against Alessio Sakara. Sakara had Cote rocked and went apeshit on the back of his skull. He landed 9 or 10 blows right to the back of his head, which is illegal, all while the referee, Dan Mergliotta, stood by, probably waiting for Cote's head to explode. Johnny Hendricks has found his bread and butter, his left hand. He knocked out John Fitch with it, and he did just the same thing to Martin Kampmann, almost exactly identically. Hendricks put Kampmann away in the first round with a big knockout. What I really think gives Hendricks the ability to land this left hand so well is his forward momentum. He comes at you really aggressively with a whole bunch of movement. You have to look out for his knee, for his kicks, for his takedown, his beard, can't forget the beard, and then, oh yeah, the left hand of death. Moving on to December 8th, the UFC is returning to Fox with probably the most stacked card ever to be on that network. Benson Henderson will face Nate Diaz for the lightweight title in a fight I just can't wait for. This fight cannot go 5 rounds. One of those dudes is leaving with the other's arm, leg, or head, or something. But really, there are 3 things that make this fight really awesome. 1. Nate will get into Bed's head. Henderson recently came out and said that he's been practicing dealing with the shit talking in practice, having his sparring partners mouth off in sparring. That's not the same. When you get in there under the lights, everyone's watching you. Nate Diaz is simply standing there. What do you want? He made Donald Cerrone look like he'd never been in a sparring match. Nate Diaz's ability to get in his opponent's head will be a huge factor. 2. If anyone has the ability to submit a guy as strong as Benson Henderson, it's Nate Diaz. Nate is deceptively strong. He has the jiu-jitsu technique from his back that will catch any fighter off guard and finish them. Don't expect Henderson to tap. Not that Nate Diaz would let go or anything. He's used to being the guy going after the champion. This is his first title defense, and Nate Diaz is as hungry as it gets. He trains with all champions or ex-champions. Jake Shields, Ronda Rousey, Nick Diaz. Nate Diaz is going to come in there with a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to get that belt. Also fighting on that card will be UFC bantamweight John Prince Albert. John joins me now. John, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, Julian?
You're fighting in Washington in just a few days from now. How's training right now, and how are you feeling?
Well, I train pretty consistently, like 3 times a day through my whole camp. 2 weeks before my fight, I do only 2 a days just to lighten my load. Week of the fight, I almost don't train. This time I actually will be able to train a little bit because I'm in my hometown. Now, we saw you on The Ultimate Fighter. You're a decently sized guy, and you're cutting down 135 pounds. That's freaking tiny. How's the weight cut going? Pretty good, man. I mean, it's good. Don't want to give any secrets out, but I'm still making strong, and the weight's coming down.
Now, John, there was a lot of controversy in your last fight. You were in a grappling match with Eric Perez, and you didn't tap. He had you in an armbar, but you screamed out, and Kim Winslow, the referee, stopped the fight. What was that experience like?
I had just lost this second loss in a row, and I had so much going through my head. I'm thinking I'm going to get cut. I was winning that fight the entire time. She stopped it before it should have been stopped. Like, I just had so much going through my head.
Did anyone from the UFC come up and talk to you afterwards?
Sean Shelby, I think he's taking up 55. I know he does 145 in blows, the matchmaker for the UFC. He came up to me after the fight, just being overly apologetic, unnecessarily, I think. But he was just like, I'm so sorry. We know that's bullshit. He says, I promise you're not getting cut.
Now, John, did being on The Ultimate Fighter almost give you a chance to see where you needed to be, being surrounded by all those top-level fighters, especially the coaches?
Oh, absolutely. That's what I tell everybody. The Ultimate Fighter really opened my eyes on what I needed to do to become a high-level fighter, to fight at the top level. Like, those guys were top-level athletes.
What are you expecting in the Jorgensen fight?
I just expect a hard fight. He's so tough, and he's going to bring the best out of me. I feel when I fight guys like him, the best gets brought out of me, and that's what excites me. Like, I kind of went through a little phase where when I beat Tay, and I was on top of the world. Like, I can't believe I actually beat someone who I thought was really good, and then he asked me to fight Ivan Benjamin. But my line is a world-class, top-level fighter who fought everybody, right? And I fought even better in that fight. Yeah, I made a mistake, blew my wad and all that, but it really elevated my game.
Having to stay focused so much of the time, especially during fight week, what music do you use to keep yourself focused?
Oh, I'm pretty eclectic, man. Usually when I run, I listen to
All right, John, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Good luck in your next fight.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Julian.
Moving right on to our next guest, UFC featherweight Pablo Garza. Pablo just fought at UFC 154. Pablo, how's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Now, after UFC 154, you said you wanted to be the John Jones of the bantamweight division. How long has this been in your head?
Maybe the last fight or so I've been thinking about it. Not too long. Something that we've just been, me and my coach have been talking about it.
If you drop to 135 pounds, you'd have a stupid reach advantage over those little guys. You already have a big reach advantage at 145. But what else besides reach would be in it for you?
I just think I'd be a lot bigger than everybody else as well.
Would size really be that much of a factor?
I mean, they could have equal set skills, but if, in my opinion, if one guy is a lot bigger than the other, they'll get the advantage. So
Those guys at 135 pounds are fucking fast. Would you be able to keep up with them?
yeah, I think so. I think I'm fast enough. So
Pablo, you're a lean guy for featherweight. How much do you have to cut to get down to 145 pounds?
I've never told anybody that. I've been asked that a lot.
Oh, so it's top secret.
Yeah, it is a big secret, actually.
In the UFC bantamweight division, whose head do you want?
I don't know. Anybody.
How heavy did you get after all the turkey and pie this last week?
Oh, man, I put on a lot of weight. I put on a lot of pounds. Been eating a lot of stuff I haven't eaten before. A lot of pie, a lot of turkey, a lot of pizza, a lot of candy.
Yeah, some fighters were actually cutting weight during Thanksgiving, and they couldn't eat.
Yeah, that sucks. That's too bad for them, man. That really sucks.
Thanks, Pablo. Congrats on the win, and thanks for joining us. Really good to hear from both those guys. Before I go, though, I'm leaving you with one question that I want you to answer in the comment section below. What weight do you think that tall featherweight right now, Pablo Garza, walks around at when he's not fighting? Usually, just for reference, fighters walk around at around 15 or so pounds heavier than they fight at. Leave your comment in the section. Thank you for watching. Follow me on Twitter, Julien Solomita. Please subscribe to my channel if you like my video. If you disagree with me, please subscribe as well. We can talk about it. Next week, we'll have some new guests for you on Fighting Solo. Thanks for tuning in.